Hi everyone, it's Cal. Nice to see you here. Thanks for coming back. Today I want to share a personal experience with you. But first, I want to apologize to those of you, and there were a few of you, um, for those of you that I responded to yesterday, and the reply probably did not match the question. Um, I have found yesterday that these things are very important. And I left them in this little house. This is a little cottage at the back of the farm that I come to do my research and study, meditation, reading, and all the things that I share with you. So I did not have these yesterday when I responded to some questions, and thankfully somebody flagged me, and I had to go backtrack and get my glasses. And so if you had a reply deleted and then re-responded to, that's why. I will make sure in the future that I'm more vigilant about wearing my glasses when I'm responding. So, other than that, I wanted to share with you a personal experience that I had post Kundalini. I had come back from the Mexican desert, and I was trying to reinsert myself and my daughter back into the world. And I was staying at my father's house. And I was still meditating voraciously. It was obviously an addiction. And many of you are probably addicted as well, because things are so vibrant in the other realms, some of the other realms. So, one afternoon, I had gone into my sacred space for my private meditation time. And I was during that time, it was easy for me to get in and out of my body. And I got out of my body, and I was doing my stuff. And during this particular meditation, I noticed that these sort of clouds of thick smoke, like carbon clouds, were coming towards me, and they were feeding off of me. They were feeding off of my spirit, and I was kicking them away. And they look like this. I drew this little picture of them here. And some were small, some were big. And it was shared with me that these are my brothers and sisters. This is where I came from. This is where I started. So that was pretty overwhelming for me to have a realization like that. And what had happened in the weeks prior, I had been asking, where is the origin of us, humanity? Where do we begin? I mean, are we just a fragment of star compiled in the earth mud? So this was shared. Yes, we come from carbon clouds. We're sort of born into, we're sort of, how do I say this? We are tiny, 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 tiny star fragments and sort of the shit of the universe. So all stars sort of, how do you say, poop carbon. Their bodies, or our bodies, work in the same way as their bodies. That's where we're headed towards. And the main thing that was really disturbing or interesting to me was that these carbon clouds that were coming, they were feeding off of me. They were feeding off of my light. And what was the most fascinating to me was that yes, this was our origin, and this is where we started off. We start off feeding off the light, which is what we are still doing with this, here at this planet with the sun. But we evolve further and further, where we become our own light in a variety of ways to join and become greater light, and that's where. And then we serve to be a sun. We serve to father planets. The sun is the father aspect. It is the active, radiant a part of the universe. Okay, so of course there are many stars in the universe, and all the stars that you see that are bright and lit up, and stars that you don't see that are dying out and either being reborn or joining with the great all of her body, is that everything is consciousness. Everything is consciousness, and there is duality until you become one with the whole. And even though when we get into that mindset of vibrating love, love eliminates duality, because that's what the whole space is. Love. Her body is this deep receptive force, and this deep receptive force controls everything that's happening in the universal body. So although you have the active sort of sun god, as we could call him or it's really sexless. And I do want to always say this, it is sexless, but we have to discrepancize to talk about the energies that are involved. So yeah, you can think of the sun as the father aspect. His light activates us daily and gets us activated, and we still feed off this light until we become our own light. And then we begin in other realms to build our light. And then our light comes to a fulcrum where we're joining with others to become a greater and greater light. And then, of course, the process of perceived death and rebirth is happening everywhere, but the consciousness never dies. And the consciousness in these sort of clouds of carbon from which we come from, the consciousness there is going to at some point expand. So consciousness is always expanding. It's never detracting. It could be having a contracting moment, but it's never losing its intelligence. It retains all of its integrity. So getting back to the origin of us, yes, in the earth we have compiled carbon, and the fragments of light. So you see, within this carbon are fragments of light, and these fragments of light are stimulated by the sun god, the sun. And we have had many suns. We have had many sort of fathers. It is a revolving system, and that is moving in a variety of ways. It's moving in a planetary way. It's moving in a solar body way. The solar system is really a solar body that acts as one unit. And then it's working in a galactic way. And then it is working in a universal way. And it's all working in the same way. Everything is flowing in the same way. And you'll be able to see this once we get into the teachings, which are a little bit more down the line. I'm trying to kind of organize them so that it's clear beyond a reasonable doubt. So our origin, we have come a long way. Celebrate yourself. It's amazing to be here. You've come so far. It doesn't stop here. You progress when you want to and when the opportunity arises. Okay, so you can want, but when your wanting becomes so much, then the opportunity arises. Okay, because the space body, the body of the woman, she is always responding to your wants, your desires. This is her children. We are her children. We come from her and we join back with her. It's kind of like we are a proton. We are a protein. We are becoming proteins in her greater body to eventually join with her body. The way the human body works is the way the solar body works, the galactic body, and the universal body. They all work in the same way. They are all metaphoric of each other. They are the same processes with, obviously a little bit of a change, but still they are moving all in the same way and making the same connections. Within your body, you carry stars. These stars are acupoints that make alignments to each other. And these alignments build a crystalline grid in your body and mind. And this crystalline grid conducts energy. You are a conductor. You are becoming a greater and greater and greater conductor. And you are growing your body. You are growing your conductance. And the conductance within your body, you are having a huge sphere around you, and the conductance in your body must always connect to the center. And that is the receptive stronghold. And within this receptive stronghold is a deep rendition of love. And every time you are, the connections between the alignments in your body are chords of frequency that are active. And just like there are alignments between the stars in the sky, in the galactic body that we can see, so too do these alignments exist in the human body. All moving in the same way, all surrounding a galactic center, and this is your galactic center, and all generating force. All generating force. And these lines of conduction in your body form the crystalline sphere of you, and you're going to continue to build this. You're going to continue, and you get to stop anytime you want, and you get to go anytime you want. That is just the nature of the universe. Now, why is this all happening? That was the biggest question for me. Why? Why is this all happening? Where's it all headed? Where's it all going? Well, to be really succinct, it was a pattern that had been started for a reason. And the pattern, once it got going, could not stop. And let me tell you a little story about what happened to me when I was meditating. Post Kundalini, I came back where meditation was still high. But remember, I had told you I had dropped more than a few octaves. So meditation had become a little bit more tricky. So I had used a guided meditation tape by Barry, I think it was Barry Konnikov, to help me rein it all in. And these meditation tape CDs, downloads, they are incredibly handy. Wow. I put it on my iPod and I put it on repeat. And I got out of my body quick enough, no problem. But my body kept following what the tape was telling it to do rather than do what I wanted it to do. So I was stuck in my room, out of my body, couldn't get back into my body, going round and round by the playing of this tape. Barry Conico's voice directing me around the room, and I couldn't get back into my body. I mean, I was panicking. I had been out of my body for some time, and I was still sort of, I still had to be present for my child, and so that was tricky coming out of that. Very tricky. I had to focus my mind intensely and remember it back into my body. And that's another technique that I will share with you down the line. Getting back to what I was talking about was once you program the mind, it keeps going. And so that's what's happened to our universe. The pattern has been run so many times, it does not stop. What does that mean? Well, it means that all get greater life at some point because it never stops. So it continues and continues and continues. And the beauty of your being grows and grows and grows. I mean, this is fortunate for us. This is fortunate for all. And this is lower consciousness. This is low consciousness, very low consciousness. But we were this once, and this is what is happening. It's being funneled into a system that is on repeat. The universe can only repeat itself because that's the only thing it knows. So we'll talk about the beginning at some point, and I will name the video The Beginning. This was about your origin, where you've come and how far you've come. And so congratulate yourself. Be happy to be here regardless of your circumstances. Know where you've come from. You've come from such low consciousness, low, sluggish, drifting consciousness that's trying to feed off another bright entity where it can find it. It's difficult to find it. So know that that this is fabulous where you're at. I mean, we all come from, and on the planet, we all come from the ocean too. And all things in the ocean have far greater consciousness than this. I mean, actually, all things on the planet that you can see are quite intelligent. And many things that you can't see are intelligent too. So, but again, we're here talking about you. You've come a long ways. Congratulations. And again, thanks for being here. See you on the next one.